Good evening. Welcome back to the garden after a giant rainstorm. We had so much rain today, but look at these beautiful lilies behind me. I just came outside because I wanted to have a look and see what else I had to harvest for the market tomorrow. I already did a pretty big harvest before the rain started, but I'm sure there's more. And what I'd really like to do is a bit of an informal garden walkthrough, a little bit like a garden tour, but maybe a little bit less edited. I've seen some of my favorite YouTubers doing that this year, and I really like the style. So since I neglected to film an actual June garden tour, and it is now the 6th, I think July the 6th, let's do a little informal evening walk around the garden, and we'll call that the June garden tour. Here are those lilies. These are close to 4 feet tall, maybe 3, but they're in a raised bed. I think they're about 4. I cut a couple of these yesterday, late last night, but I think I might cut those too. They look like they're starting to get closer to opening. These ones though, I had a few taller ones that I did harvest. Most of these are a bit too short, so I'm just enjoying them in the garden. And the calendula and chamomile is starting to bloom around it. So that's going to fill out nicely when all these lilies are cut. I have done so much work in the garden since you were last here. I weeded for 2 straight days. I planted for 2 straight days. The buplurum is starting to flower, and behind it the Chinese forget-me-nots. These were too short, so I'm just letting them go to seed. I have some dahlias. These were just planted as tubers that I got in the mail. Oh, there's the flower buds on that one. There is some bells of Ireland in this. Now, I'm unhappy with these. If you look at the leaves, there's quite a few spots on it, and actually now that I look, the bells have spots on it too, so I think I need to cut my losses and rip those out. A little larkspur that I direct seeded starting to flower. And the stalk in here is starting to flower as well. This is my 2nd round of stalk. This is the bed that I treated as a seed bed. I direct seeded everything. So a little bit of buplurum. There's some Chinese forget-me-nots that are a proper height, close to 2 feet tall. Lots of nigella starting to bud up, and some lupin seedlings too. These will get moved. I think I'm going to let everything else bloom where it is. Well, it's blooming, so I guess I have to. But the lupins are going to get moved as soon as I prepare a space for them. This pathetic bed of weeds is the ranunculus. So some of it I'm going to save the corms. There's a lot of weeds in there. I haven't taken the corms out yet, but when I do, I think I'm going to move this bed. We do have plans for this space where we put our new apple trees. But for the rest of these raised beds, look at these dahlias. Oh, there's a beautiful red one. If it will focus. There we go. Some more coming over there. Lots coming. Oh, this one looks like it's going to be a yellow one. And this is about shoulder height to me. This one is really tall. It is almost dahlia season. It is super early, but we have dahlias. Oh, looks like some more larkspur I can harvest. There's another dahlia coming along. More of these fluffy poppies get a little bit beaten down by the rain. There. They don't last very long anyway. The daffodils in crates are dying back, and I'm just letting them. There's 3 there and 1 over there. I do know exactly where those are going to get replanted, but not until fall. This is the bed that had all of my tulips in. It has dahlias now as well. This one is called crème de cassis. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. In my head it sounds French. Beautiful though. I love how the front of the petals are a lovely light pink, and then the back is sort of a burgundy. It's pretty late in the evening. I hope the color is coming across. There are 8 dahlias in this bed, I think, maybe 10. The other one that's blooming is this lovely orange. I need to go back and look at all these varieties because I forget what some of them are. This new space up here that I'm sort of making a temporary living fence to block off the neighbor's shed and pile of weeds back there. We have some squash and corn, and this is newly planted as of about 2 days ago. And then these, which were actually seeded at the exact same time. The difference is this corn was planted 3 weeks ago, and that corn was planted 2 days ago. Same with these squash, which were seeded in trays the same day as those ones. So there's the lesson there. Don't let your squash and corn become root bound. Actually, I misspoke, not squash, pumpkins. There are decorative pumpkins, a red and white mix, I think, and these are called musc de Provence. Those ones are a beautiful looking and also edible pumpkin. Can't ignore that dill, that's just self-seeded, looking gorgeous. So let's go behind the greenhouse. This is way less stuffed than it was before my big planting spree. We have 2 pots of baptisia that I don't quite have space for yet. 4 of those cypress, I planted 2 of them. And a few, there's heuchera, there's a gooseneck loosestrife, there is some foxgloves. What is that? Oh, asparagus and yarrow. These things are so root bound. I just haven't quite gotten to everything. Oh, our thing has blown off our cherry. So something's gotten to these. So this is why the cherry is netted, because they are all starting to ripen. Oh, birds have gotten in there, haven't they? Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. Yeah, there were way more red cherries in there yesterday. That's disappointing. Let's come around to the other side. And also, look at that lemon. Lemon is fantastic. There is also a hole in that mesh, so it's not a perfect system. But this is the first year we've gotten any significant amount of cherries, so I really wanted to actually get them. Anyway, moving on for now. The herbs. We have winter savory, chocolate mint, a couple varieties each of sage and thyme. And no, I never did deadhead those chives. I'm going to pay for that. And some oregano over on the other side. There's a little lavender here that I keep missing too, and the sage is sort of overtaking that. My key lime and what's this? I think the snowball viburnum. I did buy quite a few shrubs. This is just one that didn't get planted yet. The herb pots are looking amazing. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and here's some planting I did yesterday. I put 2 of the cypress in these pots. These pots had ranunculus out on my front step just as decorative. I put in each of them, I put 1 of these cypress. There is a German ivy, which is trailing, and a heuchera, which is perennial. And these things, what is this? This was Veronica that I grew from seed that was so root bound. I just potted them up, and same with that, which I'm forgetting the name of at the moment. I had so many things to plant, and I knew I wasn't going to get to all of it. So some things just got potted up. So most of those were the Asiatic lilies that we just looked at. These are the Orientals, and they always bloom a little bit later. They're the ones with the gorgeous scent. There are lots of flower buds on some of them, the ones that the deer did not nibble. There are quite a few that the deer did nibble, which is the first time I've ever had deer mess with my lilies. But I had someone send me a message, a lovely message just yesterday, and say that they keep deer out of their yard using wind chimes. And I immediately laughed at myself because I have wind chimes. They're up every year, except this year. I did not put wind chimes up this year. Is that the reason that I have deer all over my yard all of a sudden? I just didn't put my wind chimes up? That would be an awfully easy solution, wouldn't it? The only problem is I can't find my wind chimes. So I will be looking. I'm going to look again tonight, and if I can't find them, I'm going to send my husband on a wild goose chase for them in the basement, because I'm leaving tomorrow to go to the week-long Master Gardeners summer school, which includes the Master Gardeners Conference, which is held on Thursday and Friday. So I'm very excited, and that's the reason why I've been out here working double time, trying to get everything done, everything weeded, everything planted, because I have to leave for a week. So I'm very happy that it rained today at least. So continuing on, the elephant garlic is getting ready to be pulled out, and it's hard to see because there's a lot of gladiolas in there, and on camera I'm sure the foliage looks similar. I also direct seeded a whole bunch of Chinese forget-me-not, another succession. That's coming along nicely. I did weed the tarragon, and now you can actually tell that there's tarragon in there. I haven't moved them yet, but at least it's weeded. This bed, I'm very excited about this bed. The Sugar Stars phlox, we have a little bit. There was actually 4 or 5 stems that I cut before the rain, and it was too short to use, so it is on my kitchen table. And then, why can I not remember the name of anything tonight? What the heck is this? Anyway, these are Sweet William, and there's cress coming up in between them, but there's cress coming up everywhere. Oh, Scabiosa, that's what these are. So Scabiosa always has nice, strong, straight stems for the most part. Now the garlic is starting to turn yellow, and you can pull it at this stage. There's a lot of discussion about how many leaves need to die back before you pull it. It's not going to get a whole lot bigger at this point, but if you let a few of the leaves die back, it may just store a little bit better. But honestly, don't stress about it. If you want to pull some and use them in the kitchen now, go for it. You're not going to get a whole lot more size letting them stay a bit longer. Now I cut a whole bunch of feverfew yesterday. I think I'm going to leave the rest of them. This bed has been insanely productive. This, which was the sweet peas, that all got pulled out, and it is now full of celosia. We have red flame, and this is just a mix. But funny enough, I found 3 self-seeded things. There is a 2-foot-tall tomato plant in there, a dark-colored sedum, giant leaves, that is gorgeous, and a kale. So I wasn't going to pull those out. They're gorgeous and healthy. They get to stay right there, and I planted around them. I love a good volunteer. We have set up the pool. What did we get this for? This is its 4th year running, and it cost us $150. So yeah, officially we say we bought it for the kids, but I jump in here without them just as much as I use it with them. After a hot day of gardening, that thing is fantastic. I'm not sure I've ever showed my wisteria. This poor thing is probably root bound. I'm sure it's been in that pot 2 years. I thought it didn't survive the winter, but it did. So I have big plans for that. Now the straw flowers. I missed showing these in the last video of the harvest I got yesterday, and that was my 2nd harvest. I've cut 30 stems off of here twice this week. So there's not much left, but it's going to branch out. It is branching out, and we'll get way more than that in a few weeks' time. Oh, my poor grass. There's a casualty of the rain right there. This is the Carl Forster reed grass. I'm sure by tomorrow, or maybe the next day, it'll be standing up straight again. This is a perennial, and I put this here just to block the view of the pool from the driveway. And it works great, actually, when it doesn't fall over in the rain. Cosmos, cress, and snapdragons. Nothing really blooming yet, but it's coming. There's another random row. This is supposed to be yarrow. It's yarrow / Rebecca / oregano somehow. But the oregano is starting to flower, so I'm actually using it. Now this I expected. I'm going to have to stand all this status back up, but I cut quite a bit before the rain. Same with the larkspur, but look at all this color. Gorgeous. And some of this larkspur is double. Let's see if we can focus on that. Hello. There we go. That is a gorgeous stem. I might cut that in the morning. Oh, the Rebecca is starting to open. There are some gorgeous blooms in here, and some of this is in its third year. I think this is the cherry brandy. I'm not a huge fan of these. I much prefer these lighter, fluffy double ones. I'm going to come and cut some of these tomorrow morning, I think. I like them to be open a little bit more. The rat tail status is looking really, really good. And oh, this poor status. It hasn't all fallen over, but some are on the side. Gonna have to figure out how to get this standing back up. Why did I not net these? I bought so much netting. I did not put the netting up. Same thing happened last year. I should know better by now. This row with the stalk and snapdragons is a little bit sparse, so I might be able to put some more things in between the remaining snapdragons once the stalk is gone. Definitely lots of color. That poor mesh over my cherry is an eyesore, but if we actually get some cherries, that'll be worth it. Let's go check out the vegetable garden. Well, said vegetable garden, but we're going to start with some flowers. Gladiolas coming along. Big, gorgeous calendula patch. Lovely. Aw, broken delphiniums. They were in their prime too. Oh well. We can still appreciate the flower. This flower spike was probably 2.5 feet. Look at that. Poor thing. That one's not broken. It might stand up. Let's see. It's so heavy with all that water. All right, what's going to happen when I let it go? Nope. Oh, I tried. These, the poppies are starting to take over. I don't really mind. The cilantro is going to seed. The dill is starting to go to seed. So I worked in here. I actually shot a video yesterday filling out all of the empty space, and it's too soon to see what has come up in terms of direct seeding. But after all of that rain, all the squash at least is definitely happy. My marigold hedge is starting to look pretty good. Those are branching out nicely. Onions, and behind the onions is a whole bunch of butternut squash. Nope, that's a lie. Those are baby jack pumpkins. That's why I planted them on my little pea trellis. And then I think I put some zucchini. Yeah, I put some little tiny zucchinis back there behind all these tomatillos, which, why did I not stake these? They're falling over in the rain too. But honestly, I think we got 2 to 3 inches today. It wasn't just a small rain. I'm really loving that little snapdragon down there. Now this row has the beefsteak tomatoes. I have 4 brandywine with some random bupleurum coming up in between. That somehow the deer missed and didn't eat. I stuck some yellow beans in there. The eggplants were there before. There are those zucchini with another cress. Surprise, surprise. And these are my paste tomatoes. This row has, I think, 12. There's Roma, there's a Mayan Indian. Do I have speckled Roman? I hope so. Those are my favorite. Oh, I stuck some basil. Little basil transplants are stuck in there, and I direct seeded something behind it. I cannot remember what that something is. Cilantro, maybe? That sounds about right. I did put some green onion seedlings somewhere. Anyway, the ground's going to be wet for days. Those are going to pop up no problem. Oh, there's a flower on one of the marigolds. Now the peppers, I'm still worried about because the deer ate the top off of them. So what I decided was this is where I put my butternut squash seedlings. I'm going to start at least training them so that they go sideways. And at least if the peppers don't recover in time to actually give us peppers, at least we'll have squash in this row. And this is the other new thing that I planted. I found these trellises. These are tomato cages actually, big giant ones. But I planted pickling cucumbers, growing up those. I think I only had enough for 3. What did I put up this one? I can't remember. Might be some mini pumpkins. It's a good thing I filmed a video because I'll go back and watch that and then at least I'll know what I planted where. And these are zucchini. They're looking a little sad after all that heavy rain. They'll be fine. I'm not sure I've showed my kids' little garden. There's peanuts. We stuffed a lot of peanut plants in here. I've grown peanuts before, not often, but they're good fun, especially for a kid's garden. Ow, mosquito. But there's where we put the purple Brussels sprouts. And we got some dianthus. There's watermelons, sugar baby watermelons. I put some Rebecca, just some plain simple Rebecca. There's some chives, there's some snapdragons which need to be deadheaded. The deer ate most of these pansies. We have multiple pansy plants, but they look kind of pathetic because the deer found those. I really need to find those wind chimes. So I'm going to head into the front yard in a moment, but I'm just going to show you that footage right now because there isn't a ton to look at in there yet. We are losing daylight fast, so I'm going to go get that footage and then head indoors and finish market prepping. I'm going to come out tomorrow morning for sure and cut some things. I think we have some sunflowers actually that are close to being ready in the front yard. But that was just a quick little evening tour of the garden because I don't think I've been all of that thorough in showing you what's been happening over the last few weeks. So let me know if you want to hear about the Master Gardeners Week. If you do, actually go find me on my Instagram because I'll definitely be updating my stories daily. That feels like the rain is starting again. Lovely. So yeah, go find my Instagram if you want updates from the Master Gardeners Week. There is lots to learn. I even saw a yoga for gardeners session on the itinerary, so I'm excited for that. I guess I better go finish packing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.